Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, Melinda. Welcome, Lisa. It's great to be here tonight. I'm getting my lighting straight. So it is what it is. Nothing fancy here. Wonderful. I am looking forward to it too, Lisa. And I'll be curious to hear from you and others who have joined based on the topic for today. What if it's not too late to create the life you really want? I'd be curious to know what draws you in about that topic. And I'll ask more about that later. So I am doing well, Melinda. Thank you. Yeah, I am joining you in the nighttime here in Mexico. So at a time different from normal. And every Tuesday for the month of October, I will be going live at this time of day. So make sure, if you don't already, I will share my follow information. You can follow me by clicking the link that you see here, my Insight Timer profile. And you can RSVP to the events. And I've got a number of juicy live streams coming up for the month that I'm excited about bringing you. Actually, I'll go ahead and share. Yes, it's here. The next live will be October 9th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Energy givers and energy drainers in your life. So one of my favorite topics. So if that's interesting, join for that. And know too that all of my lives are available as replays in my YouTube channel. You can see those there. And of course, follow me here. And yeah. So as we dive in, and I'm just happy everybody is here today. Hey, Wendy, good evening. Great to see you. Let's just take a few moments to take a few breaths and arrive here together. No matter where in the day you are in your day. For many of you, it will be evening time. Some of you may be middle of the night or maybe in the morning. Let's just arrive for a moment. Let's exhale the energy of the day. And breathe in and open to possibility. So welcome, Chia. Good morning. So if you are on the other side of the world from me and you're starting your day, then you can exhale the night. You can exhale sleep and slumber energy, and you can inhale vibrancy and wakefulness and possibility. Maybe some of you want to yawn with me if you're either tired from the day or coming from the nighttime, having a morning stretch and wake up. Thank you for sharing, Lisa. Yeah. Really appreciate your vulnerability. So Lisa is sharing they're 64 and thinking that the bulk of their life is behind them. They came late to their artistic passion, and they've been wondering, is it too late for them to be an artist? And can you create a more artistic last part of your life? I just so appreciate your vulnerability and sharing that, Lisa. And, you know, you're speaking what others likely are thinking, and they're in whatever way it may apply for them. So, you know, I can offer you just some really simple guidance around that. If you just breathe into and feel into your heart center and just breathe in the energy of the statements that you wrote and what's on your heart, and coming from that place of pure loving inside of you. What do you think? Can you create a more artistic last part of your life? And just see what intuition bubbles up for you. And feel free to share if you care to. You don't have to. What your inner guidance has for you, and more may be revealed in our live stream. So we'll go ahead and get started. If you are new to me, please say hello. I'm Natalie, spiritual life coach and Reiki master teacher, a teacher here on Insight Timer. And I also am an intuitive, so I offer tarot oracle readings, Reiki, and ancestral clearing sessions, of which you can experience a taste of all of that in our weekend live streams. Lisa, wonderful. Wonderful that you were able to land on the belief that you can have an artistic last or second part of your life, and there's an optimism there. So beautiful. Wendy is 57 and was a nurse, and now due to physical circumstances is retired. And because of having that identification as being a nurse, feeling lost now that you're retired from that. And that makes total sense, and I imagine others can relate to that as well. Yeah, and to me what comes up for that is like that ego identification. Our ego identifies with doing. Our ego identifies with what we create in the world, or our functions and our roles. So of course it would make sense if you were a nurse most of your life and suddenly you're retired, that now there's a feeling of being lost, because where can the ego land? So that's a great point. Wonderful, Melinda. Happy birthday, turned 68. You're excited about your next chapter, feeling in the last couple of years you've been evolving and excited about it. Hi, Butterfly Rain. Glad you're here. So I have been listening to the audiobook All the Way to the River by Elizabeth Gilbert. Who else has read that book? It just came out. Yeah, because what it talks about is something that we can use here in this live stream about what if it's not too late. Hey, Leanne, great to see you. Thanks for saying hi. It's been a long time. So in the book, you know, very summarized, but the part that I feel applies to what we're talking about tonight is Elizabeth Gilbert's best friend and lover gets a terminal cancer diagnosis and is given a prognosis of having 6 months to live. So right before this live stream, I was listening to this part of the book, and it was talking about how her name is Raya, how she responded to this, terminal cancer, 6 months to live diagnosis and prognosis. And Elizabeth Gilbert talks about how Raya embraced it, she celebrated it, she refused all treatments, and she suddenly was free of obligation. She didn't have to worry about paying bills or having to, eat right, and didn't worry about retirement anymore. And there was this huge sense of freedom for her. And of course, this is just in the very beginning. I haven't gotten much further in that part of the story. But what stuck out to me is like, what if, and we all are terminal, we all do have a very finite remaining time on this planet. In that example, Raya was given, a more definitive timeline, and we never know when that's going to be for us unless we are in that or a similar situation. But, what if you knew you only had a year to live, 6 months to live? That will, if you think of things that way, it suddenly can shift the lens in which you see things, right? So, Lisa, with having this artistic part of the rest of their life, like if you knew you only had a year to live, what would you do? Wendy, same with you, feeling lost, not being a nurse. Melinda, everyone who did speak up, if you knew that you had very limited time, how would that bring clarity to you in what your next step was? How would that maybe solve the question of what if it's not too late, or does it feel too late? It suddenly helps shift our priorities. Hey Jay, yeah, see the way we see things, and totally we would have more of an appreciation. Yeah, and even as I was walking home after eating dinner and listening to that passage in the book, I was noticing more appreciation, more presence as I walked back on the lake that I live on. I was noticing the clouds. I was in deeper appreciation. And I could feel a bit of the transmission of, like when we're just immersed in life and we don't have that broader view, it's easy to just get like, oh, this is my life, another day, another day, another day. And there can be a taking it for granted thing going on, which is human and natural. And, as Michael Singer, one of my favorite teachers, talks about, like very soon we are all going to die, and none of this matters. So given that, what is that dream? What is that goal? What is that vision? I've done live streams before. I even was a guest on a podcast, and we talked about this of like, what if we fast forward and you're on your deathbed and you're looking back over your life, and really imagine that that's what's happening. What do you want to not leave undone before you go? Maybe it's creating something. Maybe it's reconciling with somebody. Maybe it's going somewhere. So all of these ideas can help get clarity on and solve the question of what if it's not too late to create the life you really want. Totally, Jay. So if you've ever thought, maybe I missed my chance, this is for you. Maybe it's a dream, a relationship, a career, or a version of yourself, especially if you might be older and feeling like limited. What if it isn't too late? What if it's not true? What if there's still a yes for you? So we're going to explore a bit deeper what wants to come alive within you. Yeah. How do you get to be that version of yourself who is the one that is creating, who is the one that is taking action? What would that look like? In my life coaching, this is what I help people with every day. So first it's about what do you not want to leave the planet undone, not having done? For real. Even just doing that simple thought experiment can really bring clarity. So seriously, if you're on your deathbed and you're looking over your life, what would you have wished you had done? We're not talking about regrets. We're talking about what was left undone. So Butterfly Rain would get their commercial license. I love that. Jay, paying more attention to their inner child so then they could give to others. Giving to others is really, what we all want to do if we get really clear. Lisa, I think that's amazing. Taking the action on creating your art, giving it more time, attention, focus, energy, more than just the weekend. I love that. And what I love about that is not diminishing it with your words. So I think it's so important that you even can notice that. And also when I'm with clients, I will point that out. If somebody's like, oh, my little thing that I do, I'll ask permission to call them out. Can I share what I see? Little is a diminishment. So Lisa, I think that what you said there is really powerful and a great start. Calling it my art. Take out any words of diminishment. Take out even calling it a hobby. So I love that. Yeah. So I'd like to hear everybody, if you care to put a word in the chat or an emoji in the chat, where in your life have you quietly decided it's too late? Where in your life have you quietly decided it's too late? Oh, that's great, Lisa. Ooh, I love that, Leanne. So those of us who have been in helping professions, now treating yourself the way you treated others in healthcare. Beautiful. So Jay talks about not criticizing. Yeah, so age can be a big one for people of I'm too late, you know, I'm X age, it's too late. So I'd like for you all to really tune into this question next and share in the chat. What dream or desire still tugs at you even if you've tried to ignore it? What dream or desire still tugs at you even if you tried to ignore it? And you might want to feel into that in the interior of your heart space. What dream or desire still tugs at you? So Jay, if you can still tune into what that is, if it still comes to mind, it's still there. And then the last question in this part of the reflection, if you knew it wasn't too late, what's the first thing you would do? And like Lisa gave a great example, I mean, basically they said, you know, first, oh, it isn't too late. They got clear on that. And then they said they would work on their art more than just on the weekends. Ooh, Wendy, that sounds wonderful. So what would be the first thing you would do to take a step on being of service for people with addiction issues? And what a noble cause and noble calling. Totally. Age is just a number. So I love that, Jay. You would laugh, spin, feel not afraid, and be free. So we all have a too late story. We all have that running inside of us somewhere. So just to normalize that, and when we name it, when we share it in this space together, we loosen its power and its hold. So the ego, the mind, you know, it loves to have timelines, which in the negative sense, it could be, well, you know, X has happened, or I'm X age, or whatever. That means it's too late. But our infinite divine soul, we're infinite. So that part doesn't care. Ah, Wendy. So thank you for being so honest. And this is exactly it. Like, as I'm speaking it, you posted that, like, the mind and the ego loves timelines. The soul doesn't care. And great that you're already volunteering at your AA club. And feeling ridiculous, that's a great, like, something to dive into. Feeling ridiculous, like if we were in a coaching session, I would ask you questions, but since we're in this, I'll just offer my thoughts. It's a judgment on ourselves, that we're like judging ourselves, like, this is ridiculous that I would want to do that, or if I were to re-enroll in school. And I too wonder if there's also a worry about how you would be perceived by others, right? Because feeling ridiculous sounds a bit like embarrassment, which embarrassment is always about others and caring what others think. Ah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, my soul just wants to speak unfiltered to that, Wendy. Fuck 'em. And I invite you, if you're up for an invitation, a baby step for you could be just open up an internet search bar and type in, school or course for addiction, and just see what pops up and just look around. Like, that would be the tiniest step. So I know we've never met in person, and I feel like I know you well enough. You've been around in our community for so long. I'll give you that challenge. Melinda, to have another great love in your life after being a widow for 24 years, and you do actually so feel it's possible. I love that energy for you. So again, the soul doesn't care. Awesome, Wendy. Report back your findings or share with me personally. I would love to hear. Love that. So if we do subscribe to the belief that it's too late, it's a form of self-protection, right? So we don't want to make ourselves wrong for having that thought. Because, oh, it's too late for me. I'm too old. I'm too this. I'm too that. It's trying to protect us. It's trying to help us. It's trying to save us from disappointment. But then we're closing ourselves off to possibility. You are welcome, Melinda. Yeah, it's just another survival safety mechanism. It's too late for me. It'll never happen for me because XYZ. It's all that limited thinking BS. So what if that feeling or that thought or that judgment of it's too late, what if it means you're standing at the edge of a bright new next chapter? What if that feeling of it's too late is actually signaling you're at the edge of a bright new chapter for yourself? Because on the other side of a breakdown, there's a breakthrough. Like within it, within what we perceive as breakdown, oh, it's too late. Within that is the breakthrough. This is the beginning of my next chapter. It's like if you plant something under the soil and on the, if you're looking down on it, you can't see what's underneath, but there's seeds that are sprouting and they're just about to pop up. Totally, Melinda. It does make sense. I'm glad that you feel that validation, and I do feel that for you. So for those of you who have, are used to achieving, if you have failed, if you have shielded yourself or protected yourself with this story, that could feel like a verdict. But what if it's just a pause? What if it is just, like I said, like that, the ground is planted and the seeds haven't sprouted yet? What if it's just a pause, but it's not the end? Jay, been years of pause. So right there, I appreciate you saying that. And I'm sure others can relate. Feeling like it's been years of pause, 7 years of famine. What if, the seed is about ready to sprout? It reminds me of the story of bamboo. The way I've read that this goes is when you plant a bamboo seed, or however that gets planted, the farmer has to water it, tend to the soil. There is nothing that breaks the surface of the soil for 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years. Nothing. But that whole time, this root system had been establishing itself. And then finally, after 4 or 5 years, once the bamboo sprouts above the soil, it then grows, like 10 feet in 6 months. So what if that's what's happening, Jay? And yeah, it does take faith, Lisa. That farmer having to continue to water even though there is no sign of growth and no sign of life. Wendy feels they've been so busy just surviving, they forgot to dream. So that question earlier that I asked of like, what is still there? What was that question? Let me go back. What dream or desire still tugs at you even if you've tried to ignore it? Or just been distracted by survival? So we're going to do just a simple thought experiment here. So I want you to think about an area of your life where you felt it's too late. Maybe your purpose, maybe creativity, love, relationship. So close your eyes just for a moment and just think about the area where you felt it's too late. And what I want you to do just inside of yourself, instead of judging it or rushing to fix it, I want you to just turn toward it. So this is like an energetic thing. Wherever you feel like it's been too late, or even if it's just a general energy of too late, some of you might just have that. Instead of wanting to fix it, judge it, just turn toward it and breathe. Just acknowledge it. Feel how it feels. To just acknowledge that part, that energy. Without it needing to change. What if that part didn't need to be pushed away or shamed? The part that feels it's too late. Can you meet that right now? Just with a sense of curiosity and compassion. You might notice there might be a color, a texture with the energy. And just soften toward it. And allow it to be there. It's not wrong. It's there to protect, to shield from disappointment or perceived failure. So you can come back to open eyes if you did your eyes closed with that process. And you can just allow that part, that energy to be. And it reminds me of the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, where she talks about fear. That book is all about creativity. So for any of you, wanting to do creative pursuits, I would definitely recommend it. But she talks about fear, and that fear is usually like driving the bus or driving the car of our life. And if you've given into this fear, what if it's too late to create the life I really want? Like, it's not about judging or making yourself wrong for it. It's about understanding, compassion, acceptance, curiosity. And then the part that's afraid, gently inviting it to sit in the back seat. Not to be in the co-pilot chair, not to be driving. It can sit in the back. It can come along for the journey, but it's not going to be making decisions or driving. Ooh, wonderful, Wendy. Wanting to become an instructor of some kind, using your experiences to help others navigate. And you've been wanting more clean time. Almost 3 years sober. Maybe it's time. When is your 3 years sober, by the way? And congratulations, Wendy. And two, if you've wanted to go back to school, it'll take a bit of time to finish. So perhaps by the time you would be ready, you would have, of course, you'd have longer than 3 years. So, what if it isn't too late? What if it's not too late? What if that's just a construct and a story in your mind that your mind has made up and believed to be true? What becomes possible for you if it's not too late? If it's not too late, what becomes possible for you? Give one word in the chat. If it's not too late, what's possible? Ooh, awesome, Wendy. You're almost a month away from your 3 years. Congratulations. Determination, butterfly rain feels. And Wendy feels connections become possible, totally. So I want to ask everybody, what is one baby small step you could take this week towards whatever that is for you, that desire, that dream, that vision? You can share it in the chat, you can send it to me in a message, you can write it on your phone or in your journal. What's the smallest unit of action that you could take? That's a great one, Butterfly Rain. Imagining that you're already doing what you want and embodying that energy, feeling how it would feel to be that version of yourself, totally. Great, Wendy. Keep us posted. I love that for you. So, life keeps lifing. Life keeps inviting us forward, no matter how long we've paused. No matter how long we've paused. Doesn't matter. The door is never really closed. It's up to us to become willing to put out our hand, to take an action, to turn the doorknob, to knock on the door. And even you showing up here tonight in the live stream is doing that. Wonderful, Melinda. Continuing in the self-love. I wonder what could be a fresh, new practice for you. It doesn't have to be big and involved, but I wonder what could be something you could add if you've already been doing this for the past few years with your self-love that you've been living. And maybe considering that, or maybe experimenting with some new things could be your action. So it's never too late to choose yourself, to choose life, to trust yourself, to trust source, whatever that is for you, to create something new, to take a chance. And even if we think about, that thought experiment, that idea of, okay, you're at the end of your life, you're on your deathbed. What do you not want to leave this planet left undone? That's a great one, Melinda. So if I may offer you, because that's a good intention and it's not specific. So what could be a tangible action step that would be like the positive opposite of hibernating, what would that be? You can share it, you can just think it. So if this topic tonight stirred something in you, if there's a dream or a next chapter you feel brewing and you'd like support in moving forward with that, I do offer for those who've never had a gifted session with me before, or if you'd like to talk about the possibility of coaching with me together and helping you create this, send me a message. I've got a powerful process that I offer that can help get clarity and next steps for you on moving forward to create this. So send me a message here, everywhere that I am, Facebook, Insta, website, all of that good stuff. This has been double live streamed on my YouTube channel. You can catch the replay there. So Melinda, to get out more and see more people. So if we were in a one-on-one session, and I can just ask you here, would that mean, say, getting out one extra time in the week when you normally wouldn't? I wonder if it would be, I'm going to go to this place and do this thing once a week, or pick something new once a week, where there will be people around. It might be a class, it might be the park, it might be the coffee shop. So getting really specific and clear is the best way, because then you have something to hang on to. So you started with to quit hibernating so much, which is a great general beginning. Then we flipped it, and you flipped it, to get out more and see more people. So then to refine that, it would be, I will do X, at X and X, like getting specific. And then you can run an experiment with it. So don't forget to follow me here. Here's my follow card you can click if you don't already. And thank you for all who have followed me for so long, or if you're new. If you care to make a donation, you can do so by clicking this here. Great, Melinda. And feel free to share with me if that's helpful, what you came up with. Yeah, meetup groups are amazing, Wendy. And yeah, it might just be going to the park or going to the coffee shop, and maybe having a goal to just say hello to one person. You could start really small, or if you feel up for, I'm going to go to a yoga class that I've never been to, or a meetup group, you can do that too. Thank you, Butterfly Rain. Thank you for joining and your participation. So maybe, Melinda, if you did meetups before, maybe this is your invitation. So I'm going to pop up to my energy givers and energy drainers live stream here. You can see October 9th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Click attend and you'll be notified. I will see you all then next time. Thank you, Wendy. You're so welcome. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. I will see you all very soon. And if you feel the heart's call to reach out and connect with me one-on-one, honor that and follow that. And I will see you all soon. Namaste. Ah! Bye-bye.